Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the High Soapbox. I am your host, and I am joined today by friends of the show, Tzar Walker and Anthony Lopez, and we are here to do a delayed special episode on our reactions to the Castlevania series as a whole at this point.
Listen, I know you threw him under the bus about the delay thing, but you didn't do season 1 or 2 yet either.
True, but
we could have done that to kill time.
We could have, but season 1 is 4 episodes.
Yes, which could easily be covered, and we could have just been on from here.
Season 2 was how many? 8?
Yes.
How many season 3?
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
not enough to do comprehensive,
yes.
Especially when it's a slow burn.
Uh-huh.
You're just fucking with me at this point, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Alright. So, let's just start with the first season. Very kind of disjointed in terms of, the first couple episodes, in terms of going from scene to scene to scene to scene. You know, you don't really see Trevor, Belmont becoming, the focus of, until, I think, episode 3? Really?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was to get its footing, you know? You want to introduce the characters first, and you want to, the first thing you do was introduce a villain. And for Dracula, you have to include, him, his wife Lisa, what led to that, the things that happened because of it, and then you get to Trevor, where he stands on it.
You gotta understand, for people who have played the games, or know the story of the games, they already have a good idea on what happened, on what led Dracula to become the way he was, at least in terms of Castlevania 3. Because the show takes place within that. I mean, it doesn't totally follow that, but it's based off the game Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. Yeah. So that being said, the story taking place where his wife dies and because of the church, and Dracula essentially takes that as, well, your last chance of letting me live a peaceful life on this planet is fucked. Now I'm gonna kill everybody. So and it does make sense for why those 4 episodes were essentially establishing episodes, just setting the.
And the first 20 minutes of the first episode was essentially a gore fest.
Welcome to Castlevania.
Yeah, that's Castlevania.
Don't you fucking play Doom?
That's what I say. It's always been that way.
There.
Not so much a gore fest. The gore has been back and forth sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But it's definitely.
It's very horror themed. It's very
It easily fits in the realm.
Yeah,
of it.
It is.
Besides, listen, they're taking story bits that were explained later from Symphony of the Night. That's where Dracula's wife and his whole subplot of his life came from.
Mm-hmm.
And Alucard too. That's not Alucard. But
they're taking all the retcon stuff, not retcon, but just
the stuff that elaborates on it,
right? And basically putting that at the front, and they're basically putting shit in order.
Yes. Because Dracula's Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, that's what it's called, is just Dracula is being a dick. Trevor is a Belmont. His job is to stop them. The church enlisted him, and now he's off to stop him. He meets a few people along the way to help him, which is Sypha Belnades, mage. Doesn't say who, what she is or who she is. It's supposed to be like a Samus thing where at the end where it's revealed she's a girl. You get Grant Dynasty, who is like a bandit, and he works with you because you free him from a curse from Dracula.
Mm-hmm. Which also we didn't see him.
No, we don't.
So I'm guessing that since
we're kind of jumping ahead though. We're still in season 1. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
And the third person you meet is Alucard, which is Dracula's kid who locked him up. And they go and beat Dracula. Dracula's castle collapses. Everyone moves on from there. It's not until a much later game where it's talks about what goes on in that era. But other than that, that's the game. That's the story of the game. That's it.
You can keep in mind it was an NES game too, and NES games weren't really known for the story. So
no, but I played a little bit of the original Castlevania. It's a competent game.
Oh yeah, it's just stupidly hard.
Oh my god, yeah.
Jesus Christ, difficult.
But I digress.
It's a very Dark Souls mentality with it.
Right. So season 1 was the vibe I also got from it was, we don't know if this is going to stick around. We only have enough money to make either 12 episodes or 4 really fucking good ones. And I think what ended up happening is that they put like we're just going to sell it on these 4, and their gambit paid off, and they got a whole new season, and then we can move on to season 2, where just because like in season 1 we get introduced to the first 2 essentially the 2 companions of the story, which is Alucard and Sypha. And then we move on to season 2 where where Dracula's court starts expanding, because up to that point I only thought it was just Dracula just being a dick and just like him and all his monsters and shit, but I didn't like the fact that he has like an entire court of people he has to try and get to follow him kind of brought me out of nowhere, especially where over the course of the season we don't really see them doing much like in terms of like the night raids and stuff like that.
And Tzar can counter me on this one because he has more knowledge on this than I do. But even in the games, I don't think it was like explicitly stated that like there were like other legions of vampires. Like there was other vampires around. Like Dracula clearly wasn't the only one.
Like Carmilla, for example, she's a recurring boss enemy in the series. So
yeah, but it was never like any like. I guess there was never any organization with it. There was never like real thing. All we have is like Dracula is the big bad, and for some reason
Dracula's
there are like
strongest
demons, and there are demons that are working for him, and no one really knows.
Dracula's the strongest. Dracula's the strongest.
Yeah.
Therefore, everybody listens to him, so they don't get.
There were no real inner politics, at least as far as I know. When it comes to the games, it was more like Dracula
kill the big bad.
Yeah, Dracula had his followers like Carmilla, for example, Fleaman and the Creature, Death himself, which I still find really cool to this day. But yeah,
that's a hell of an insurance policy.
Trust me, it is.
Do you guys feel that with all the politics and stuff like that, do you feel that takes away or adds to the lore and the feel of the world?
Oh, I say it definitely adds.
Oh, it adds. It definitely adds.
But Tzar, as somebody who's played most of all the source material, what's your opinions of it?
It honestly brings. Listen, like I think Castlevania's story, no matter how you slice it up, it's pretty basic, you know.
There's really not much. So I mean, it kind of gives as far as the creators had to go. They had certain things they had to go on. They had a lattice of framework they had to work with, but it was essentially a blank slate.
I wouldn't exactly say
in terms of like building from the ground up. There weren't really many toes they had to step on in terms of the finer details.
What do you mean, like?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, elaborate on that.
Exactly.
So you have the basics, the names of characters, what the main characters, what those named characters' focuses are in the story, and who they are and their placement in terms of Dracula, the Belmonts, and the fighters and Belmonts in Dracula's court and stuff like that. You know, there's. You mean Lord, like Count Vlad like Count is a like, to me it makes perfect sense that like you would take something like it's like taking Doom before it's like taking the Doom series before 2016 and Eternal, and basically going, we're going to take the world, the images, and what little story there is, and we're going to extrapolate upon it.
Yeah, but
like they're basically extrapolating on a basic story and adding lore to the lore in places that there isn't.
I would say that it's more along the lines of how it was given, because there are interviews for these kind of things on how this came along, how the storytelling came along, and things like that. And I've read a few of them. And like for story-wise, they were given a rough outline of the games and what took place. Basically, they had to go out of their way to make basically a timeline of events that happened.
They didn't even have a lore Bible.
Yeah, no.
Like, I mean, things like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, like
because
things like that.
Most companies keep those kind of things like kind of safely guarded to them.
Yeah.
Well,
especially Konami.
Fair, but I mean, like the lore Bible, it's not like things like the lore Bible.
It's not a matter if it's like worth it or not. Like what its worth is. The fact that is, it's kept secret. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the ground line of it. It doesn't matter what you think of, like, if it should be or not. That's just what it is.
Right.
But
we're getting sidetracked. So
basically, the story outline was that here's the games. They basically made a timeline. They're like, okay, this takes place, this takes place, this takes place, and they had to. What they wanted to do with the what their idea of a story is that they had to follow those guidelines, but when there was a gap, they could fill it in with their own lore, which was the inner politics and stuff like that, which is what they did.
Which is also where we get season 3.
Yes and no.
Which, I mean, let's be real, season 3 sort of feels like a... season 3, to me at least, feels like a layover. You know, it feels like just... It's not as blood pumping and thrill inducing as season 2 was. I mean, that last fight with Dracula was fantastic, and then the way he went out was not like some great battle or anything. It actually made you feel kind of melancholy. It made you feel like there are no winners here.
Yeah,
you know,
especially when you learn in season 2 and stuff with the other vampires talking that Dracula was starving himself by not drinking blood. Which means that he was severely neutered,
right?
And he was fucking owning that fight,
and he was still beating their ass, which makes you think about how strong he must have been at his peak.
I don't know. Ask Simon or Richter.
Which also would make you think about how fucking ballsy someone like Lisa Tapis was to walk into Dracula's castle in the first place. Speaking of her. Do you guys remember in the beginning of season 3 where they had that intro where they basically get so in the beginning of of season 3 when they're when it shows the evil the crazy bishop going into the house and shit looking for shit, before that happens, an old lady's there talking about that's not the wise woman. She tried to sell me a cure for my migraines, and it was basically dried foot skin and shit or some shit like that. And basically, as Miss Tapis is being taken away for her quote unquote crimes, the bishop says, give Madam the healer, wise woman, gold for her for a find, and that she will find eternity in the kingdom of heaven.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that means?
What?
It means that the wise woman who lost business because of Miss Tapis healing people for real with science got salty and reported her as a witch.
Yeah, and that was definitely a line that I kind of missed.
Yeah,
but it's kind of hard. I mean, understandably, it's easy to miss with a woman literally burning at the stake.
Yeah, but thankfully, because that was seasons beforehand, I was able to focus on the lead up to that, and that was just a little nugget of info. What it does so well is what the series does so well is it just drops little nuggets and stuff. If you pay attention, you'll understand. And
little nuggets and the dialogue itself, the dialogue is so fucking good.
It is. I think in season 3,
the dialogue's the best part.
Yes,
it excelled in that.
It's
in season 3.
It's whenever there was a lull, I actually did not mind it at all when there was a lull. I actually looked forward to it. I'm just a part of me was can the fighting kind of stop a little bit? I want to hear what but that's not to say the fighting scenes were bad. They were excellent.
You're talking about in season 3? Because those scenes were far from...
In seasons 2 and 3, and even 1 too.
Yeah, season 1 it had very few fighting scenes whether Trevor against the Cyclops or Trevor against Alucard.
When they were in that one town Greshold or whatever, and Trevor rallies the townsfolk to fight the demons.
When he's in Greshet, yeah.
Greshet, yeah. That scene with the bishop and the blue-eyed demon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, they're very
I felt kind of vindicated. I felt vindicated seeing that's what happened to him.
Yeah,
it's just he deserved it.
Yeah, there's a lot of scenes that
they do fan service well in the terms of just giving the fans what they want in terms of what happens to certain characters and all that, without being too indulgent to the point of tropiness.
Yeah. Another big thing about the Castlevania series is about the TV series is that even if you know how events will play out, and you know that certain things, because in the games it is confirmed that that Trevor and Sypha do get along and they have a kid. And that's why every descendant afterwards, every Belmont afterwards, has magical abilities. It's because they derive from Sypha's line. But the best thing about this fucking TV series is that you don't know how it gets there.
Exactly.
You know, this happens, this happens, this happens.
But you don't know what happens in between.
Yeah. The headlines that how they get there is where the writing really takes off. And that's what I meant by like the timeline thing, is that those were the events that happened.
Yeah.
How they get there is what the writing team did.
And I think that's what makes season 3 so just excellent to me in terms of that.
Because it was a it's literally a gap.
Yeah.
Like, they kill Dracula at the end of season 2. Spoiler, by the way, duh. But you wouldn't be listening to this if you haven't already seen it.
Yeah. We
but
should probably put a disclaimer.
Yeah. Whatever. Their fault. But the point is
Okay.
the point is like Tana and Taka, like that whole arc with, like, first off, Alucard, like, bro, you've been like.
Oh, wait. Did we finish talking about season 2 first?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We're moving into season 3, but like it's just like the whole fact that like the like season 3 was like the chance for the writing team to flex, and flex they did.
Yeah, I definitely say so, especially with the next game that takes place in the timeline. It's not Simon, by the way, yet.
No, Simon's, I think, hundreds of years later, right?
It's like a good 200, 300 years later.
Okay, so I would...
It's like 3 or 4 generations later.
So, I wouldn't be... So, I think I would not... I would be unsurprised if, like... I, quite frankly, wouldn't be, like...
Well, I mean...
Here's the thing, though. Like, how many times is Dracula a bad guy before he gets his reincarnation as a young buck who forgets everything?
A lot. It takes a long time before he actually... Before
he becomes Soma Cruz.
Yeah, before he becomes Soma Cruz. And that's not until, like, that's when the very last Belmont shows up and just stops the shit. Okay, so...
See, because here's my thing. Like, the way Dracula's written, like, he dies realizing the monster he's become. He goes to hell, probably gets the verbal reaming of the century from his wife for doing what he did.
Mm-hmm. Well, probably. Lisa will probably be pretty pissed about seeing that Alucard got thrown around like a ragdoll.
I mean...
That bear... Like, that's...
Years,
like,
so.
like, that's the most thing she'd be mad about. I'm pretty sure she'd also be mad about how he eviscerated, 60% of Wallachia's population?
Yeah, I feel like the Alucard thing will probably be more.
Kind of, yeah. But, I mean, it was her dying wish that he never heard.
Yeah, or that he would at least, understand. But I see what you're getting at.
You know, so my thing is that there has to be, they would have to, the only way in my mind that they would be able to, put Dracula on the warpath like that again would be in a case of...
Getting fucked over again heavily, or...
Probably
retconning
humans killing Alucard and burning down Dracula's castle, and by extension the Belmont Hold.
I could kind of see that, but...
Because Dracula will come back like, you killed my son, you destroyed my castle, and you destroyed all the knowledge that my son protected and found so valuable.
Well, to be fair, he didn't like this Belmonts anyways, though.
Yeah, but it's obviously he would have respected the fact, you've been pissed that he destroyed it because his son stuck around to protect it and do all that and valued it.
I think he would just be more concerned about his son.
Yeah, simply because the Belmont versus Dracula rivalry, that's happened way before Trevor. That happened before Trevor, so he's already had a disdain for the Belmonts simply because.
But there's also a grotesque respect as well.
That's what a rivalry is, though.
True.
There's a very begrudging respect, and that's it. Mm-hmm. They're a rival for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
Whether you acknowledge it or not, but
yeah.
The next line the next game that would technically take place after Castlevania 3, or that was during around that time, is Tzar. I know you know the name.
Damn, what the fuck? I actually don't remember it's
Curse of
Darkness.
Yep.
Yeah, Curse of Darkness.
And who's the main guy in that?
Hector.
Yep.
Hector. I was actually really surprised when Hector was introduced to the series, because it was very true. It is very true that during this time, Hector does play a major role, and as well as Isaac. But it was very shocking to me to see just how I wasn't expecting how he's going to be played, but I am.
But
very
seeing how he literally got fucked over, like in season 3, makes me think like he's going to become that jaded, like forlorn character within another season.
I don't think he was jaded. He was just more like aloof. Like he was very Cloud in 7, where Cloud was just like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But he's obviously like in the series up until the end of the most recent season, he's
described as optimistic. I think
he has a almost childlike innocence to him.
Yeah, he's definitely been easily tricked. That would put a Red Echidna, that would make a Red Echidna blush. Like, sheesh.
But yeah, honestly,
I just felt sorry for Alucard after like what happened with him. It's just
we'll get to that.
He's becoming more and more. I just can't imagine like
that's something
jaded.
I really want to heavily talk about, but I want to save that because like,
all right, let's save that for the end. So let's move on to Lindenfield or whatever it was called.
Oh no, Tzar, like finish saying your.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the last bit on Hector. I'm just really interested in seeing the direction that they're taking with him, because right now, honestly, the guy's being thrown around like a fucking rag doll. Especially with what happened to him in the very last parts of the season. But I'm just wondering to see what they're gonna do with him next. So let's move on.
Yeah. So where to start?
I guess we could start with the whole.
Because I mean, the one thing
wizard, not the wizard, but the fucking
judge
Sala.
The guy who the fucking time traveler.
The saint.
Yeah,
Saint Germain.
Yeah, Saint Germain.
Saint Germain.
Saint Germain. Because he is a prominent character in the games, isn't he?
Yeah, he was. Which game was he in? He was in one of the games, I believe. It might have been Curse of Darkness. But I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
So a couple of things I want to know with Saint Germain. You know what I think is interesting?
What?
I don't think Saint Germain, at least the one in the show, hails from the world of Castlevania.
And it's a pretty good idea.
What do you
Basically, he's not originally from the world of Castlevania. He has knowledge.
He has knowledge that almost seems
otherworldly.
Like he has like if you listen to him speak, like he sometimes drops nuggets like, "Yo, that's some like modern shit."
The biggest hint is the toilet paper.
Right, because toilet paper is no, it's not called toilet paper like in any other time except modern times.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is that him and his lady friend who's lost in that endless dimension of books in libraries.
I will say this: Saint Germain, I believe he's a time traveler in the games.
That makes sense.
And if you look at the way he dresses, if you look at some of the accents he has, you see the hourglass, and see, his theme is time.
Yeah.
So, right. And by the way, he's actually based off the real philosopher Saint Germain. Yeah.
So would it be safe to presume that in time, well, in that we might not see him again per se in the time of Trevor.
We'll probably see him again much later.
Yep. Much later, probably
earlier.
That may be what he meant when he said, "I will see you later." That could be very well what he meant.
Because what is it, the Chaos Realm or whatever he went into,
mm-hmm.
or Hell?
Infinity Corridors, I think it's called.
The corridor. Mm-hmm. When he went into the corridor, I think he explicitly said that time flows differently. So he could be in there for like a minute, and it could be years in the main timeline.
Right.
So he may not be a time traveler by traditional sense, but more like every time he gets out, he might just be like several steps ahead in history, and he'll go back in, and then come out again, but several steps ahead in history.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Who knows? I don't know how this will go.
And then it makes me think like the studio that made this, they also might have the possibility of doing crossovers between that and certain other franchises if they ever get to do another series because of the concept of the Infinity Corridor.
Yes, actually, that opens up a lot of gateways.
Mm-hmm.
It could also open up to other timelines in.
But I think it would have
Castlevania history.
True, but the one thing that would have to
Judgment.
So one thing that could happen is you could possibly bring forward Trevor and or at least just Trevor after he has sowed the seed or whatever.
Yeah.
And forward to when someone like Simon or Richter is around and just be like,
because Trevor does pop up later on, but it's either as a spirit or as a ghost.
And I don't think let's be real. It wouldn't feel good if he came back as a ghost.
Well,
I mean, he'd be dead by that point, but still, we don't want to be reminded of that.
Well, I don't know.
I mean,
it's
the game. I will say the games have done that before. The ghost of Trevor has appeared, and spoiler alert, the ghost of Richter has appeared as well. So Belmont turning into ghosts aren't really new to the series. Whether they're not actually do that or not in the series, I don't know, but it's not new.
Yeah. Besides, this show does not shy away from death.
Not at all.
So
I mean, like the first 10 minutes of the first episode are blatant with that.
Yeah.
Hell, the first episode, period.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the way they like the poor a kid was like a toddler. Oh god. But like it took an episode and a half for me to just be able to stomach the goriness of it. But it is what it is.
The goriness is almost played up to like comical levels, like Mortal Kombat levels.
That's why like I never really. That's why whenever I see
it's almost absurd, but
I'm not scared. I'm not scared. Like, oh my god! It's like,
but
shit, that's cool.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like Doom, you know.
Yeah,
exactly. Because if it was played more down to earth, like something like Resident Evil or fucking Dead Space,
something
that's where you kind
that's
of
where
like
you just feel really uneasy.
Yeah, that's where you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, but like the thing is, the thing I will say here is though, let's move on to in terms of characters. The arc of the judge.
That was
I didn't, of all the things I expected,
that wasn't one of them.
That was not it.
I will say this.
Okay.
I had my suspicions. Simply because of the context of the church and just how immoral they are, and just at the time period. And then there's that one scene. There's that one scene when you see Trevor bring back one of those dark followers and shit. And he comes out of that room, and you see him sweating and cleaning his hands up. Why the fuck do you think he's doing that?
Yeah, he looks completely afraid, and he's like, he looks so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. Now at that point, I was like, "Oh boy, what the fuck is he up to?"
And I was also,
I would have never thought.
Let's finish with Art.
And I was also really curious about the whole the kid with the apples. I was very curious about that.
Yeah,
and it all came full circle. Wherein
because the thing is that like in that scene, I'm just like, oh, he's human. Okay, like it came off as an endearing scene.
It came.
But I never connected like that, the sweating with like that at the time.
Oh no, I didn't.
No, and like I just like I loved the judge as a character. It was a strong leader, very taciturn but fair, kind when in times. Bit of a control complex, but it's whatever. And it's like everybody in the town seemed happy, everybody seemed safe, nobody had issues. Like he knew what he needed to do to get rid of the demons and kept most of the people in his town safe during Dracula's onslaughts. But fuck, dude, like I can't say I'm upset that the character was done that way, but because it was such a great ending, because he's like, I know my shit's about to be found out, but I'm at least gonna take revenge for the people that you killed.
Also consider the fact that when Trevor and Sypha went to investigate, well, more Trevor than Sypha went to investigate that.
The back room.
Yep, the key was already right there. It was already just right there. And I know this could sound like a game theory time, but
oh come on, we're talking about a show. It's film theory.
No, but no. It just feels a little too coincidental that the key was right there, and
it feels like it feels like he put it down, knowing like I might die today, and I feel like it was one of those cases where it's like I don't think he was a serial killer in the mind of just like he had a compulsion like Dexter or something like that. I think it was just like I want my town to function. And I need people.
That was exactly why you did it.
In this town, I need this town to follow me, and if they can't follow me, even from a young age, then they need to go because they're not gonna. And the result of that was a safe, healthy, happy town that functioned and was safe even during Dracula's onslaught, at the fault of him killing people as young as 8. Yeah. As a result, and I'm not defending this. I'm not saying this is a good thing by any stretch of the imagination.
But you easily understand the
mindset. But if I remove empathy and human emotion from it, like he does, I understand. I understand his methodology and why he's like, and also the sweating and shit is like,
he didn't like it.
He didn't like it.
Okay, no, wait, no. Keep in mind, he did say this: being a judge does have its own little pleasures.
So Tzar's got a point. Mm-hmm. He did take some enjoyment out of it.
Yeah, but it's also he I think knew how sick it was at the same time. I don't think he took so much pleasure out of it that he didn't feel guilty for doing it.
Well, then what's worse then? Unknowingly evil or knowingly evil? Unknowingly is that you think you're doing is right, but you don't know what you're doing is wrong.
Well, you can't.
But he was
both. Both are evil. You can't pick between the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, but you could definitely compare.
You can, true, you can. But moving on,
it's a difference between like someone who was killing monsters, and it turns out that he was under a hallucinogenic, and it turns out they were people, versus a guy who was killing people.
Yeah,
but he thought he was doing something good.
But moving on to in terms of Lindenfeld,
you want to talk about that?
Solid, yeah, just like. The ending of all of it was just like
it's very grim,
bleak. Like it's nobody except for Trevor and Sypha. Nobody lives.
I think
nobody.
What's funny is that
there's no point for you to burn down Judge's house in the first place.
Well, I'll say this. Pay attention to Sypha during season 3. Mm-hmm. Look how optimistic she is.
And how dead.
Yeah, just look.
Go ahead.
Look how you see how optimistic Sypha is. Adventurers, the Belmont and Belnades. Adventurers for hire. You know, this whole motif, this just adventure motif.
She's just having fun.
Yeah, having fun. Victorious.
They had a whole month of fun. And at the end, Trevor's like, "You lived your life for a month, and now this will be
Tzar finished."
Yeah. So. You see that happen, right? But as the problems develop more and more in the town, you start realizing this isn't fun and games, man. Yeah. And it comes full circle at the very end when she burns down the judge's house, and that's when she says, and that's when she says like where did it all go wrong? And that's when Trevor, and I think one of the best lines, if not the best line, was when Trevor said, "We were living your life. Now you're living mine."
Yeah. Trevor played along with her optimistic adventure. He was hesitant in the beginning, but...
And I mean, it felt good for a time.
Yeah, but he was well aware of the bigger picture here. He lived this life. He knew.
It won't always go well.
Yeah. Behind every good person you may meet in the road, there's always another flip side. Whether it's minor or whether it's an extreme, like the judge.
Yep.
Trevor's fully aware, and when everything was said and done with their little journey, or Sypha's little journey, he was like, "Well, that's exactly what Tzar said."
Yeah.
You know, now you're living mine. This is why he goes to bars. That's probably why he's a drunkard, to forget most of this shit.
Keep in mind, his clan was essentially driven out too.
Yeah, they were ostracized and
they're excommunicated from the church, even though the church needed them to.
Pretty much.
It's a shame, but
I always found it hysterical how like the church still thought they could do anything to stop Dracula's hordes, even as like it is proven like there's nothing, like even as the archbishop is ripped to pieces.
Yeah, it comes down to like just absolute power. You know, they
feared the power the Belmonts had.
Yeah, and even the Belmonts are revered, like absolutely revered throughout the country. Everyone knows them. Everyone knows their name, but they don't hold any power like the church does. And that's like
their power came in their ability to do something that the church could not, and that is to fell demons.
Yep. And the only way like the Belmonts could even coexist with that kind of environment would be to be subservient to the church.
Well, they also need clerics and stuff to make things like holy water and bless weapons and stuff like that. But
the Belmonts aren't going to use their churches. They would go out of their way to find different churches and people that have no influence from the bigger church.
Right, but the church was also notorious for making people priests who didn't go through the proper rites.
Maybe not.
Because you needed a to make holy water. You have to be a priest who's gone through like the proper way. You can't just be made a priest and that you have to do it. You have to go through a certain level of learning and devotion and consecration and stuff.
And
like that.
I would agree, but the Belmonts didn't exactly rely only on.
No, but holy water was was an indispensable tool nonetheless.
It was a tool though. It was that's all it was. They literally had like you saw, there was a vault literally of
knowledge
of other ways to beat demons. It didn't have to necessarily just be holy weapons.
Oh, of course not.
Their greatest weapon. I mean, hell, the
greatest weapon was knowledge.
Yeah, no. I was going to say the Morning Star.
Well, the Morning Star
is an alchemic fusion of fucking
busted.
Well, it's an alchemic fusion of fucking technology and magic, and then holy.
And
it was a fusion of all three.
To the point where even Dracula had to take pause.
Well, yeah, where it was able to inflict some serious pain to Dracula, where he was like, "Oh shit, wait a minute."
I remember this fucking thing.
He remembers it. He knows it. He called it out. He's like, the Morning Star.
Yep.
And he's like, shit. He's like, I remember you.
I don't know any of y'all except for my son, but I remember that fucking thing.
He's like, I know you. I locked you up. I don't know about you. You're unique. You. We have problems. I want to see you outside.
Yeah. Oh, man. But lastly,
Hydro Storm.
Lastly, though, it's like I did not see the Alucard's ending of season 4 coming. Well, the previous
season 3.
Season 3 of season 3.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna talk about episode 11.
Yeah.
I mean, episode 11.
The pornography episode.
That one.
Yeah.
And then honestly, the Camilla stuff really in her sisters and stuff like that aren't really important. I do want to touch on what's his name?
Hector.
Isaacs. I want to talk on before we talk about season 11. Before we talk about season 11, let's talk about Isaac.
Yeah, we haven't touched much on Isaac.
Isaac's arc was probably my favorite part of the season.
Dude, I love the dialogue between the shopkeep and him, and the ship captain.
Oh yeah,
Isaac.
And the sentient demon.
And the sentient.
Oh, that was a fucking highlight. That was a highlight.
The sentient demon fucked me up
because it's so. For those who haven't seen it, we're going to just explain what happened. So, Isaac is sitting in the middle of the desert because at the end of season 2, Isaac is a forge master who makes Dracula's army. But the point is that after he's yeeted into the desert and makes a demon army of his own, he says, "Where is the one that talks well?"
Yeah.
And a bug-looking thing comes up and starts talking to him and says, "What do you remember? Do you remember anything from before you were a demon?" He says, "They're like dreams." And he starts explaining that the demon in question, and this is a demon telling the story, that in the past, when he was a human and alive, he was a scholar in the Library of Alexandria. Holy shit.
He's an ancient soul.
Yep.
He's an ancient soul. And the way and Isaac was asking, so were you a sinner were you considered a sinner because you were a pagan? And he said no. He said he was tortured and all that by the church, and then in hopes of being spared and making the torture stop and living his life, he lied and condemned others to a fate of death. That's what made him a sinner, and then they killed him anyways.
Yeah.
And that's how he ended up in hell. He wouldn't have gone to hell if he had
stuck to his belief.
Not only stuck to his belief, but not condemned others to death.
Well, that was his belief, not to condemn. His belief was not to condemn others, but he folded. That was the thing.
Right. Which I mean is if there is, which makes you think about like the greater of lattice of faith and all that in the world. Like, if there is a God or a good place you go that's good and a place to go that's bad, I would think that irregardless of your beliefs, as long as you do not bring undue harm to others through malice in such a way that their pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is hindered permanently because of the choices you made, or as long as you like I feel like whether you are like if that does exist, you condemn yourself. Yes. How guilty you feel for the things that you've done is what condemns you, and that's kind of how I feel like heaven and hell work in the Castlevania world, and this demon kind of like proved that in a way. I mean, Dracula's in hell simply because, like, there's a guilt he feels for not being able to protect his wife
and killing hundreds of innocents.
For like in that moment before he died, he was like, "Shit, I can't believe I did. I can't believe how wrong I've become."
Okay, I would I definitely agree, Evan. That is a very interesting idea. I think it's kind of a bit more black and white like that than that, though. It's more like the church is supposed to pass on the teachings of God, but the church is kind of doing its own thing now, where it almost holds no power. So no matter what the church actually says, for example,
especially
to
now
scholar,
after Dracula's shit. Like,
well, I was going to say to the scholar, for example, because he got condemned by his peers and stuff like that. It didn't matter. It didn't matter in the long run, because if he knew he was going to die, and he didn't condemn the others he was protecting, and he died with that belief, I feel like his final judgment would have been still to heaven. But because he folded,
he lied.
Because he folded and because he lied, God passed a judgment of, well, basically, first off, you didn't stick with your belief. You folded it. You gave up for selfish reasons. And because of that, that's why he went to hell. Right. I think it's more black and white like that. Dracula was already carrying a heavy burden for killing hundreds if not millions. Thousands of people over his lifetime. Mm-hmm. Right.
But he also did it with principle. He never took more life than was necessary.
It's kind of hard to say. He isolated himself afterwards because he just stopped wanting to be bothered. But you can only be bothered if you did it first, or if you reacted back.
Yep.
It's pretty clear that he caused a lot of problems.
He did.
So he was going to go to hell anyways, no matter what. That was the thing.
But why was his wife in hell?
She admitted that she also done some skeevy things.
That's fair. I feel like her son is the only person who would ever be allowed into heaven at that point.
I mean, that technically would be true too, but who knows? He's half vampire though. That's the problem.
Keep in mind.
Keep in
mind that he did. He did slaughter those guys too.
The two twins,
yeah. But that was self-defense.
That was self-defense.
Right, and those twins were probably ended up there too, simply because they were disingenuous and
I'm gonna argue this, okay? Because I'm gonna argue this, okay?
Oh wait, we're
yeah. Oh, actually,
that goes into the scene.
Yeah.
That goes into the scene.
Yeah.
We gotta. let's finish up with Isaac.
Yeah, let's finish up with Isaac first before I say that.
Right.
So Isaac's dialogue is absolutely the greatest. I fucking love it.
I think one of my favorite moments was when he killed the wizard.
Yeah.
When he killed the wizard.
Yes.
At the end.
Back to Isaac and all that stuff. It's like his character development over this series was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like I look forward to him having conversations with people more in like philosophy and talking with the shopkeep, like you said, the shipmaster, the sentient demon, the elderly forge master, woman.
Little Easter egg. Since this goddamn series is full of it. The shopkeep, the first thing you see him in. Did you know that he was holding a mask?
I did not.
This is more for Tzar, though. It was a stone mask. Vaguely similar.
Yep.
But like the moment like Isaac came in, he put it down. And it kind of like left the same afterwards.
Yeah.
But it was it's kind of on the nose.
Yeah, it was very on the nose.
I thought it was funny. It's like the writers were like fully aware that like, hey, we get the meme.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so what is that supposed to be in reference to?
it was a JoJo reference.
Yeah, it was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking A.
It was a very subtle one, but I liked it. I didn't pick up on it my first time, and then like someone pointed out, I went back and saw it. I was like, oh, okay, there it is. Let me think. Oh, so Tzar, you were saying about the wizard?
Oh no, I just thought the whole action sequence was really cool. Just seeing him getting chased by all those people who were being controlled by the wizard. I just thought it was really cool. That was a cool scene. Shit. Oh, you want to talk about the
sex?
Yeah.
All right, let's fucking bite the bullet on this one.
Dude, I didn't.
That was a little much.
Really? I mean, for me, I did.
I feel like I understand they had to cut away from the fight scene so they didn't have to animate so much of it. But come on, dude.
Okay, first off, this is kind of funny because our first conversation about this, Evan, you were okay with it.
I was okay with it to an extent, but like I'm thinking back.
I was okay,
I'm fine with it because it was from a logistics perspective. I get it. I don't judge him on it like whatsoever, but still.
Okay. Well, for me, I thought it was too heavy-handed. I understand
I didn't think it was heavy-handed per se, but yeah.
I mean, well, I don't know. I thought it was heavy-handed for Alucard. Let me express that. It was fine with Hector and what's her face because I understood that was her whole plan, anyways, to lead up to that.
Yep.
It kind of felt weird with Alucard and the twins.
Yeah, I think
nothing. Okay, first off, no problems with gays or homosexual or like what are your trans or
you're already digging a hole.
Yeah, I know, but first off, like I don't care if I dig this hole. I'm pointing it out there. I don't fucking care. I don't care what it is. I felt like, but my problem is that I felt like the emotional scene could have been handled differently.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to that point.
It felt like sex was an easy cop out because everyone feels very vulnerable with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna add on to your point. I felt much more. I think things really came full circle when it came to Hector and Lenora having that sex scene, especially with the fact that she knew what she was doing. She knew exactly what she was doing.
He got bad.
Yeah, she knew exactly what she was doing. And the second she slipped that ring on him,
he's done, son.
Yeah.
So there's that. But I think with the twins, I can see why you think that it's very heavy-handed. I can definitely see the merit of that. Honestly, I don't. Sometimes there was during the season, I did understand the twins' motivations. That being they want to be able to find some way to defeat the vampires and shit like that.
I feel like their real motivation came out of fucking nowhere.
I think it was more out of spite though. When they said like we want to have our own empire and shit like that. I do see where you're coming from with that though. But I did feel like it was more out of spite because they were ready to learn magic, they were ready to learn all of this. But Alucard, he wanted to take things slowly. He wanted to take things slow. I think
he didn't want to be lonely.
He didn't want to be
He didn't
lonely.
want to be lonely. He was stretching it out.
Yeah, he was stretching out simply because he missed the company of Sypha and Trevor. He missed the company of them.
Despite both of them aggravating him.
Yeah, but they all had a sense of togetherness.
Well, you also got to consider, like, Alucard's probably, like, mentally something like 15, 16 years old.
Oh yeah, he's still very much young.
An adolescent.
Yeah,
Like, it's
still
like
very much a teenager. Yeah.
And I mean, you got to consider he probably has not been socialized very much at all in comparison to in comparison to somebody who'd be of a similar age, and he looks like a grown-ass man.
Yeah, and I would agree to that, because let's think about it, like, for a minute. Younger Alucard, like, his only close social relations would just be his family, his mother and his father,
And both are big dead.
well, basically his mother died, and he
killed his dad.
well, more like his mother died, and he confronted his father, conflicting ideals. They fought, sealed up, came out, only to stop his father. And now that his father
what the fuck do I do with my life? I don't
now
have
that
anybody, and the only people I do have just went off on a fucking adventure, and are probably just I don't know.
Basically, everyone grew up pretty much. That was Alucard's thing. People moved on. Trevor was always moving. That was the thing.
Right, it's like he gets antsy when staying in one place because that's how, at age 13, he had to keep moving. Otherwise, he'd die.
Yeah. And Sypha, well, she was a nomad anyway, so
she's at home on the
very
road.
used to it. Yeah.
Though I will say that as she traveled with Trevor, she started getting more and more used to bedding and things like that.
I think it was more like she just got more used to Trevor.
Yeah, she definitely did. Yeah. Like, going back to Anthony's point of when we were talking about, we know it is indeed confirmed that Sypha and Trevor have a child, which leads to all the Belmonts, like Juice Belmont and stuff like that, having magical abilities as well as the following ones. But you don't exactly see how.
Yeah.
But in this, we definitely see how the relationship not only begins but how it develops. So, yeah, just another point of seeing that happen, you know.
Yeah. See, like, it's funny because, like, with Sypha and Trevor, it's like, despite being main characters, the sexual actions are more implied than anything.
Right, because which is more to my point that they used it as a tool more than anything.
And that's kind of my problem, that sex is kind of like, it's a very vulnerable state people are in. It's kind of,
and I think
it worked with Hector because that was the whole point of Lenore's plan. Because at the end of the day, she still had full control.
Yeah.
Right.
But with Alucard, it felt very, I don't know, not wrong, but it felt very weird.
Think of it this way, though. Okay, and I'm perfect. And if you don't, that's fine. But think of it this way, though. Okay. It already seemed like the twins had some type of plan to make Alucard fess up to other things within the castle. Okay, and do I think that do I definitely think that the sex was a little too heavy-handed? Yeah, I definitely do, just a little bit. But I think it was definitely part of their plan to put Alucard in that vulnerable state, simply because they did come to the conclusion that, oh, this guy is lonely as shit. One of the two friends that he really made are gone, you know, and they probably actually no, yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah, Alucard did mention them. I mean, not like directly, but he did mention them. So they came to the conclusion saying, yeah, this guy's lonely. This guy needs some type of companionship in order to fess up or something like that, or just feel vulnerable, you know, and be open. Maybe this is the best thing we can do. And
that's my problem, though. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know about... All you know is about their eagerness to want to learn to defend themselves and stop vampires.
Right.
And protecting their people. That is all you know. But it's not until... And they even come to terms with, like, Alucard's lonely. Like, they come straight to terms with that, and they talk about it, and it feels very friendly, though. It feels like...
Right, like, that hostility, I feel...
It came out of nowhere.
Like honestly, the reason why I was more okay with the sex bit of it than you were was because I felt like like, this was not how I would have written it to go, but okay, you know, because I feel like that was, like, just, like, Alucard is having relations. Great.
Yeah.
You know, I did, like, that hostility, I did not see, like, it felt to me like it came out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah,
See,
I'm not...
That's probably my...
That's my problem.
Okay,
It's like
that I can see.
My problem was not the sex. It was that I was caught completely off guard that the sex was
that the twins were that agitated towards him.
Yeah, it was not.
Your timer's on red. What does that mean?
Yeah, so no, it's just that it's maximum recording time of 60 minutes. What we're going to end up doing if we keep going, we're just going to end up making another time, like just restarting it. So it's fine. We can keep going.
I want to just stop it here, and then we'll just do the new one right now, so it doesn't cut us off during the...
Sure, fuck it. Let's do an ad break. So we're back with dangly parts, but
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
That's the best way to introduce it.
But, as you guys were saying, continue.
So, honestly, I think my biggest gripe with the whole sex scene was probably just the hostility in it, because it was such a jump, because it was very calm, where they were like, Alucard's lonely.
We're being besties.
We should help him out with that. And they're like, okay, cool, let's do that. And I get
and now let's fuck.
Yeah, and well, listen, if that was their conclusion, I don't care. I wouldn't have a problem if it was just that, and their way of showing companionship. I would have been fine with that. I don't care. My problem is the giant leap in logic that they had, where they're like, "Oh, you don't want to tell us? You fucking hate us," and it's like, "And I hate you," and it's like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was such a jump. Like, it was no build up. It was like
out
I feel like
it could have nowhere.
It could have definitely been built up more. I think it was weird too. I look back on it now and I do see what you guys are talking about. The twins don't really seem too agitated in terms of like, because they know they eventually find out like, yeah, this guy is definitely hiding things from us, but
it's not like he's a malicious.
Yeah, you know. So
and he doesn't come off, and it's like there's nothing they found that made him come off as malicious.
And I think I do definitely see where you're coming from, where it was like, why are you plotting to kill this guy who took you in when you really didn't have any other place to go to, and you could have easily killed both of you with no effort,
but he didn't.
But didn't. Took you guys in, gave you a comfortable bed to sleep in,
and you guys took it for granted,
and was gonna essentially train you to become efficient vampire slayers.
But,
you know?
Yeah, and I get it. Like, if it was more over time, where they kept pushing at Alucard, and Alucard wasn't budging about knowledge, I would get that. But it was only one or two scenes.
It was only probably one or two scenes where they're just like, do you think you can show us more of the castle? And then Alucard's like,
we'll get to it.
We'll get to it when we get to it.
And
know?
Yeah, and I remember, like, they were asking about the fucking the control room.
If the castle moves and shit like that.
Yeah, and Alucard is like, we have plenty of time. We can talk about that later. And the twins look at each other, and but it's not like an upset look. It's like a concerned look, and it's like, I get it. Okay, that's cool. But then
they could have animated those interactions so much better.
What do you mean?
In the sense of making it seem like there was something wrong.
Oh, like giving them more more concerned expressions, like, okay, there's clearly something going on.
Like, all right, fine, whatever. Just
But then that goes onto the line of they should have explored that more. They should explain that more.
They did not have to they did not have to end Tana and Taka's story with their dead bodies being on pikes outside of
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame Alucard for doing it, but
I feel like it would have been better if
I wonder how jaded he ended up after doing that.
I mean, assuming he's pretty fucking jaded, but I don't know. I felt like it should have. Let me ask you this: do you think it would have felt better if you knew that there was something wrong with the twins at the beginning? That
no, but I feel like about halfway through they could have hinted at it a little harder.
Okay. Or No, I would say like if it established it in the beginning that, or it left hints that these two were either A, unstable, or B, they were like just using him for his power, or wanting to just get his knowledge and power.
But then we wouldn't get as attached at the same time if that was the case.
That's not the point, though. I don't care about the two. I care about what happens to Alucard. Right. And if Alucard feels like he's being fucked over, you still get the same reaction out of it.
Right. I feel, it's like, I don't know. It's like, I kind of like the twins as characters. It just was...
I did, too.
It was jarring to me to just see how, like, the about face.
It felt like an extreme amount of effort built into characters.
Not a lot of payoff.
For no payoff.
Yeah.
It felt like if you build up a character's development for like fucking 2 seasons, and then the third season they do a complete 180, and you don't know why, and it stays like that. And you're like, okay, well, what the fuck? Like, I invested for nothing.
You're right.
What do you expect? Like, dude, what do you want from me?
And I did feel that way. I did feel that way a bit when the twins were killed. I'm like, that's a fucking shame, because I was really looking forward to seeing them evolve more as not just characters, but as trained vampire hunters, so they can avenge their family, and they're gonna avenge their family back at home, and and just slay the vampires who, did them dirty. But it would have
been, it would have been a great lead in to like Bloodlines or something.
Yeah,
because where Alucard is just doesn't mind teaching people.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's not going to announce it, but like
right.
He doesn't mind teaching people in this knowledge as long as they're
good souls.
Yeah. I would say use it well, well or wisely.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. It was leading up to him, like, oh, is this going to be like kind of like a Bloodline type of thing, where where it's like not directly it's not really the Belmonts going after, excuse me, Dracula, but someone who has the training of doing so. I mean, they're not nearly as efficient as the Belmonts, because no one can do better than them, but they have some ability to at least put him down for a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It really makes you wonder.
What?
Like, for how good this series is, like, just how it flounders at times.
I wouldn't say it flounders. I'd say...
Or just, like, not flounders, but just, like, it falls short of what I know its potential is. Like, so when it does do that, like in the case of that, of, like, just where there's, like, a fault in storytelling or something, it's much more jarring.
Well, okay, then I'll bite. What do you think is another fault other than this scene?
Another fault I would probably say is... is kind of just like... It's... I would say one of the things is like how... Just like how basically like... how naive Hector is.
I wouldn't say that's a fault, really, though, because that's his character.
Right, but I'm just like, it's like, I don't like, he's almost treated like a, like being, like, how does he go along with everything with Carmilla in season 2 just so willingly? Like, I just don't see how, like she almost didn't do anything really to try and quote-unquote turn him. And
you know what? I will agree with that. I will agree that Hector seemed too easy to convince.
Right, it's like almost as if, like, and here's the thing, don't matter how like innocent or quote unquote childish you might be, like there's
naivety and innocence does not equate to stupidity.
Correct. Like there you can like you talk to children. Like you probably like.
Why do you say it like that?
Well, no, it's like you guys have family that are younger and stuff like that. Like kids aren't stupid.
No,
they notice things, they see things, they may not understand what they're seeing right in front of them, but it's not like they're like morons or anything. Like they see what goes on in front of them, and they may not be able to react to it because of their naivety, where like they just don't understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the interaction between who was it? Who was it? It was I think it was Carmilla. It was between Carmilla. It had to do with Carmilla and her vampire sisters. But I think they were disgusting about that whole situation with Hector. I don't know if you remember it though.
Is it the one where they were talking about the condition he came in with? Like how Carmilla brought him in?
So yes, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, where they were saying that like how she kind of
Overkill?
yeah.
No, it was that. Yeah, I think it was that, and it was when. No, it was when Lenore was talking to Hector, and basically told him, "Listen, like, you weren't tricked. You wanted to. You didn't want to do what you were doing with Dracula anymore. You thought what you were doing was for a just cause, and you kind of found out that the man is kind of just going crazy simply because his wife died."
But that's like the same as like a coercive confession, though.
Right.
It's like you're playing the loose and logic, and you're hoping that they would agree on some semblance on it.
Yeah.
And then that's when you just have them in your grasp. That's the same as a coerced confession.
No, that's understandable.
So it's like she was still manipulating him.
No, you're right. She was.
I would agree though, like that Hector's falling into Carmilla's plans just kind of felt very simple. Like it felt very easy, like way too easy. Like you got this guy Hector who, for some reason, he hasn't turned his back on humans, but he does definitely feel ostracized.
Yeah.
So like Isaac, like legit feels like his back was turned.
Well, he was gay. He shouldn't have been. Anyways,
keep going.
Oh shit. Oh man, but
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yep. Well, it's good. Like good. The maximum is like 6 feet, anyways.
Anyways,
moving on.
So, yeah, but like, I mean, Hector has only been like what, like ostracized, but like that's about it. Like he wasn't like he hasn't received the same kind of like extreme like Isaac has, but at the same time, Hector is like. He would have to be knowing. He would have to know when people just wanted to, like, kind of use him and shit like that. He would have to have known that. So when Carmilla comes out, and it's kind of heavy-handed with Carmilla, where it's just, where you already get the feeling like, hey, I'm going to fucking trick you. Like, first off, his loyalty is only to Dracula. And unless Dracula said, like, oh, by the way, like, I'm the only guy you listen to, but you listen to these guys too. He didn't say that. He never said that.
No.
Their loyalty was with Dracula only, and he should have stuck with that. It felt very convenient. That was my problem with it. And it's a bother because in any other show, that could have been played normally.
Yeah.
And it could easily fit in.
Yeah.
But other shows don't have the level of writing.
Yes.
This has.
If you, with the amount of detailed and in-depth writing it has, snafus like that really spread.
Now I see what Evan was talking about. When you have such sublime writing and all the nuances that Castlevania has, the slip-ups and snafus in the writing are even more jarring to look at when you see them.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that is my problem with I agree with Carmilla convincing Hector.
Yeah.
It felt more convincing with Lenore. I mean, Lenore,
yeah.
With Lenore.
But
at the same time, it was understandable with Hector because right away he was like, "No, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck are you trying to do?"
Yeah.
Because he knew right away.
And I can trust these people as far as I can throw them.
Yeah, and he didn't. Yeah, and he still didn't trust her when she tried to get close to him in their first encounter. Because he tried to like fucking hold her hostage.
And she put his ass straight.
Yeah. But that only proved the fact that, like, A, he's powerless. That he can't do shit.
Yeah, he doesn't have any of his tools. He can't do anything.
So he couldn't really do anything if she kept coming back to basically talk to him or coerce him. So he couldn't do anything. He could only, like, either A, like, try to turn around and, like, ignore her, which good luck with that.
Because she's going to keep bothering him.
Yeah.
And it's like, at the end, like, it's like, I don't even understand how he fell to falling in love with her when she, like, at the end, like, of their first interaction, she was, like, saying fetch. and throwing like blackberries at him, and I'm just like, at that point, like, that would stick with me.
Yeah, because he's being treated as a slave. He
He's
should
being
have
treated as a pet.
Yeah, and that's what he ended up being at the very end.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the same treatment that she was giving him was no less the same way that Carmilla would have treated him.
Right.
And he should have came to the conclusion like, okay, first off, fuck her.
Because he's naive. He's not stupid.
Yeah, but the fact that he falls for her and ends up having sex with her too, it doesn't help. It makes it feel so...
The gaps in... that's the problem when you have something as excellent as the writing of the Castlevania series.
I would say as terms of characters, like, they really kind of dropped the ball with Hector, considering that he becomes a very competent, like, powerful character later on.
In the game, he's very experienced with what he does. I'm not gonna lie, like, I am looking... I'm still... It does bother me that this is what they did, because yesterday I was when I said like I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him after this. I thought more about it, and I was like, I'm kind of sad because
it's like the place he ended up is not good.
You know, I see where he was. I mean, like I said, I know they're not following the original game note for note. They're taking bits and pieces of it and implementing it into this narrative. That's fine.
Yeah. They're taking this timeline and key events and how they play out.
Yeah.
How they get there is up to them.
Yeah, and that's completely fine with me. I have no issue with that. It just bothers me to see, like, how the hell is this guy going to come up from this?
Yeah.
You know? And I guess that's probably the only thing I can look forward to. But the thing was, I felt like I was looking forward to that last season. And then when you look back on it, it's like, did Hector really progress?
Yeah.
It's almost like I feel like they're trying, like...
It felt a retread of season 2.
It feels like they're trying, like, I feel like what is going to end up happening is that for him to turn into the aloof, distant type of character that he is in the games... They're basically started him out as an innocent character, and then basically what's going to happen is that he's just going to have to be aloof and just distant and almost jaded from the rest of the world just by being fucked over time and time again, and just like that is going to probably end up coming from just like being betrayed by Dracula and being manipulated and by the Carmilla sisters and all that. You know, it's just really gonna end up being a case of...
But it's kind of weird because, like, they put so much effort into Isaac, and they put so much development into him, and spoiler alert, he's a villain. He's a villain in Curse of Darkness. He gets killed by Hector.
Who?
Isaac.
Yeah, I mean...
they put so much effort into Isaac, which you know even less about in the game.
And you see the development of Isaac, like, bro, this is really impressive shit. Like, even if you know in the background, like, Isaac's a villain, you're like, this is a really cool-ass villain.
I feel like what Isaac is going to, and I feel like with Isaac and his development, I feel like his exposure to humans that aren't sheep, like, I think he's realizing that humans aren't as much of a plague as he thought. And I feel like he thinks, like, over time he's going to come to a realization that, like...
Oh, he would have to.
That certain humans are worth keeping.
Well, I mean, when you say it like that, it kind of makes him seem like he's only keeping them around as pets.
More like it's just, like, I think he's going to be more of the mindset of purging the weakest links.
And, yeah, you know what, I could kind of see that. I would definitely see that, like, that's where his... development is going,
but
well, there's not really a but.
Because it's like I feel like it's a lighter version of what Dracula would do.
Yeah,
you know, it's like get rid of all the ignorant people who are uneducated or anything like that who don't have the capacity to be educated.
But Dracula wasn't like that though.
True.
Isaac is, like, literally trying to emphasize the ideal of Darwinism. And, well, okay, not practice Darwinism. Well, okay, it's practice Darwinism. but Darwinism with intelligence, not so much with strength.
Right. Where like I think it would for him. Like I think if he were to do what Dracula did, I think he would basically have a order saying, kill everybody over a certain age. With youth, there is the ability to learn, and you're not set in your ways. I feel like that's where like if they were to write that storyline, I feel like that's like where it would be.
Like I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I don't think he's gonna do something exactly like that, but
no, I feel like he's gonna end up being a big bad or whatever, building his army, and I really hope they haven't done it with him. They haven't done it with any of the characters yet. They haven't done anything that's contrived.
Yeah,
they haven't,
except for Hector. But I feel like at the same time, like all this bullshit is really just a way for him to just like turn him into, like I said, that aloof and almost jaded character. Yeah, but I feel like you could just build that over. You know what? I feel like if he was in a situation similar to Alucard, and he had to do that, kill the twins,
that would be better.
That would feel more natural in his end.
Because I mean, look at Alucard after all that ordeal. He's just a jaded.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's a broken man already, even now,
and that just made him bitter.
Yeah, but it would be different for Hector because he's not falling into the same trap twice. He'd be falling into a trap that he didn't know he was going into.
Right. I mean,
the first one is still he still fell into the clear manipulation
of Carmilla. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, in his defense, like I did not see that ring shit coming.
No, but he had to have known that she was still with the other sisters.
Right, and it's like
because he was still a prisoner for a reason.
Right, but it's also like it's just like it makes you wonder.
Yeah,
it does. Yeah, it does bum me out just a little bit to see Hector in this position because
it's like
I just want him to be written.
He's just a guy who's a recluse and likes taking care of animals that weren't taken care of IRL.
Yeah, he was just a guy who just wanted to just be treated fairly.
Do you think Dracula would not like? Do you think Dracula wouldn't? Like,
that's the biggest punchline though. Dracula would have. He would have treated him fairly.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you see how he treated Isaac? And he had better chemistry with Hector.
Mm-hmm.
He would have treated him better.
Yep.
But the problem is that Hector was in it. He fucking fell into the easiest trap in the world that everyone could see.
And it's one of those things where it's just like how.
Yeah. And now they're twisting his ideals of like what he thought of Dracula and stuff like that,
which is just like my thing is Dracula was very cut and dry, principled man. It's like he's not he a monster in the series, but before he became a monster, he was very like he like for every action there's an equal opposite reaction.
Yeah,
do unto others as you would have done unto you. Basically, you don't fuck with me.
Yep.
I won't fuck with you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Period.
And if there's a mutual respect, he treats it back. That's why he enlisted Isaac and Hector, not because they were humans, but because they were really good at their craft. He didn't care. He didn't give a fuck if they were humans. He wasn't going to eat them anyways. He wasn't going to do anything like that. Hell, he had to tell the other vampires to back the fuck off.
Right. Because but the question is in a more macro sense. It's like, if Dracula's armies are so dependent on the demon on the demon forge masters,
they're not. There are other ways of doing that. There's other ways of like bringing in demons. And shit
right,
like
but the easiest and most efficient way is
forge masters. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, but anywho, I feel like we've basically talked about everything we can at this point.
Oh yeah, definitely. We touched on Alucard. We touched on the Trevor. We touched on Sypha, Saint. The Judge.
We'll do
season 3, season 2, season 1. Dracula.
Dracula before,
Lisa.
Saint Germain.
I already pointed them out. Let me think. The future of the series. It's not really a topic, but like one of the producers of Castlevania expressed that they wanted to do Devil May Cry as another series.
I fucks with it.
And I would definitely, I would love that level of dialogue or that level of, like, action with Devil May Cry. Like, first off, I would love the dialogue more because I love the more talkative scenes in Devil May Cry because it's like, It's a nice little, like, peaceful thing.
But they'd have to stay true to the characters.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
Like, but if they're also taking their ideas with it, like their own personal ideas, I want to see depressed Dante from Devil May Cry 1 and 2.
My thing is that if I mean, with the Castlevania series, because there's such a gap between the first game and the others, I feel like they're able to flex more. Like, the problem with Devil May Cry is its lore is much more fleshed out. I feel like they did something like Metroid and did a Metroid series.
Yeah.
That would be much more.
There's a little behind that too. I mean, but it's not
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but it's like I feel like
on the gaps, though, with them.
I feel like Metroid is more in line with Castlevania than something like Devil May Cry.
That'd be very interesting to see, though.
Yeah,
I
but
definitely see that.
regardless what you feel, or what do you think you should have done, one thing's for sure is that the producer is doing the Devil May Cry, and I do admit though it is a lot more like flat out, like this is what happens, this is what happens, this is what happens. Mm-hmm. There's very few points in between where it's like, where you fill in the gaps.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I would like to see where that goes if they really do try to do that. I would love to see like how they try to fill in the gaps on that. I would love to hear the dialogue. I'd love to see the action.
Definitely.
If anything, I feel like they're going to probably do the beginning of the series. Hell, it doesn't have to just be Dante. It could just be Sparta, his fucking father. Mm-hmm. The one that started this whole thing.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to see. A Devil May Cry 0.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like that's more potential as something like a game.
Yes, but as a story, too, there's plenty you can fuck with on that. You only have the general outline of Sparta was a commander.
Also, it'd be very interesting to see the climax of Devil May Cry 1 in an animated form.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It would have a lot... I mean, I don't know, like, fuck. I really like the idea, though, if they would do a Sparta story first, because Sparta was a commander of Mundus, who was a very high, powerful demon. Sparta disagreed with Mundus. And
I know, but we'll get into it later. But the point is, yeah. But definitely, the Devil May Cry stuff is that's certainly something we'll have to do another one of these about. Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, this is this has been the High Soapbox, our Castlevania bonus special thing.
Yep. More like recap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. It's been a long time since we last did more than a half-hour show.
Yeah, it's been a couple months.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? This one was definitely something we easily filled up. Like,
yeah, but I'll definitely bring you guys on for another thing at some point in the future.
Hell, Season 4, already announced it, Season 4. We can see where that shit goes.
Oh, yeah.
Small discussion at least.
Oh, yeah, at least half hour on that one.
Oh, definitely.
Minimum, but
Or a new Castlevania game? Oh, shit, that would actually be interesting.
It would. We will see you guys next time.